and just want to thank, everybody that came out today. Obviously, Hope Coliseum was special, and what makes this place special. Obviously, we, lost a couple tough ones, and again, people hanging in there with us, and just it was a special environment. Thought our guys really executed defensively well early. Jasper got us off to a great start offensively. Attention to detail, like I said, was good. Belo and Chance, did a really good job on three. And Rob Wright got away from us a little bit in the first half, but obviously he's a great player too. And DJ was tremendous in the first half, and it was kind of one of those kind of baton games where it kind of kept getting passed to other people in big parts and big stretches. And they made their run, which we figured they would. If you've kind of followed them this year, they've, similarly to us, have dug themselves some big holes and then had the ability to dig themselves out of those holes. But I thought our composure and, again, this group stays together about as good as any team I've been around, and made the plays down the stretch. And then obviously the rebounding differential was probably the separator in the game.
Questions? What was the difference there, Ross, on the glass today?
I'd have to watch it, to really see. I mean, I thought, we were able to drive the ball, which I've talked about how vulnerable that can make you on the defensive glass, even from our own standpoint. And thought we were able to drive the ball and get shots up on the rim. And, Belo was really active, and Harlan and Chance, and just played with a level of urgency once the shot went up and led to some big baskets.
Hey, Ross, you look like just different guys up there tonight, just tougher rebounding, inside scoring. How much of tonight is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for you guys, and then recollecting and getting something better out the court?
It's a good question, and I told the guys after in the locker room that I really felt like today was a byproduct of the previous 72 hours and just their ability to stay the course, stay together, handle disappointment in the same manner that they handle success, be the same guys, put the same work in, learn from it, not run from it, not point fingers, not blame, and getting that 72 hours onto the floor today.
Ross, you've talked about the perils of just trading baskets. How different is it when you're ahead? Obviously, you were up by like 10, but you never were able to kind of grow that.
Yeah, like I said, if you've watched them this year, that's similar to what they've done in other scenarios. I wasn't surprised, and now they're like I thought to start the second half. Part of that was we didn't do a great job of giving them one shot only. We made them miss the first shot of the half, and we couldn't come up with it. Then we foul them, then they bang a three, then we turn it over, and now you're like a 7-point game. So they are as two an elite one-on-one players in our entire league. And so, like I said, the last thing you want to do is give them multiple chances. But, yeah, they got in a rhythm and they started making some tough ones, and you do feel a little bit of the squeeze, like you better keep scoring on the other end too. But, again, our ability when we did miss to go get the offensive board, and then I thought, Chance probably made the play of the game when we kind of turned it over and he went and stole the ball back.
Coach, in regards to the little things, you're plus 10 on the offensive glass, plus 8 points in the paint, plus 7 second chance. How important were those little things in the ultimate outcome of this game?
Yeah, I've talked a lot about, the slim margins that are in this league, probably outside of the top 3 or 4. Being honest, they probably have bigger margins than the rest of us. But once you slip behind that, the margin is so thin. And the difference between winning and losing can be those things you mentioned, a loose ball here, a second chance point here, a hustle play. And, again, was just really proud of our guys for making those tonight.
Ross, going back to that turnover, I don't know, as a head coach, if you see Devanza running down the floor with the ball in his hand, that's 3 points, right? and then you get the ball back. Like that swing is pretty significant. But just your perspective, what did you see? What did you think at that moment?
Yeah, you're not thinking very many positive thoughts at that moment. Really you're thinking, what I would be thinking is kind of like wall up. In my mind, I was probably thinking like, I hope we just wall up and don't foul them and give them like an and one. But again, I thought that play was symbiotic a little bit of this team and this team's ability to play through negative stretches, a negative play, a negative game, a negative result, and continue to keep playing. And that was about as big of a keep playing play as you could have in that moment.
Coach, the weird things in box scores catch my eye a lot. I think of the way Brennan played defense on AJ, his offensive rebounds, his scoring. He's a -7 in the box score. How was that possible? I mean, that's not a -7 game.
No, I think, he got 2 fouls early. And so, like you said, that's why I think plus minus is sometimes tells the story, and then sometimes it's a byproduct of maybe you sub him out and Honor goes on a heater and goes on a 9-0 run. Well, you lost those 9 points when you were on the bench. And so I thought that was a little bit of that in that first half. We did make that run when he was in foul trouble. But I thought his attention to detail and his commitment to not fouling him, and he's so difficult to defend. He's so fluid. He puts you in tough spots. But I thought Belo did a great job of making them make tough ones and not fouling them on jump shots. So
You're not grading him a -7 on this game, though? Or?
no, not tonight. Not tonight.
How was the halftime message different going in with a 14-point lead, your largest halftime lead in Big 12 play?
Just that, and again, we talked about it, just reiterated a message that we had already delivered, whether it was last night or this morning, that because of both of our natures, ours and theirs, throughout Big 12 play, to be up and down and come back. I mean, even the other night against Central Florida, they were down 36 in the second half. They cut it to like 10. They were down 22 at the half against Clemson, came back and beat them. They were down big against Arizona late, and made that a one-possession game with a chance to win it at the end. So we had talked a lot about that leading up, that no lead was probably going to be too insurmountable to come back, and then no lead that you had was going to be too insurmountable for them to come back. And so the biggest message, which, again, we didn't do to start the second half, was like they only had 2 offensive rebounds in the first half. And then they had 5 in the first 9 minutes of the second half, and I think that's where you saw some of the change in score. Because they have the offensive talent, they're going to make like tough shots. I mean, that's going to happen. But what you don't want to do is give second chance points. So that was the message.
You're 2-1 against ranked opponents at home this season. What can you say about your team's resilience in these games?
Yeah, I think it speaks more to how special of an environment, Hope Coliseum can be, and how difficult of a place this is to play. And I think the 2 wins that we had, I thought we played great in both those games. I mean, I thought we played really well against Kansas, and I thought we played well tonight, great tonight, and got obviously you're always a better coach when the ball goes in the hole. Like, you know what I mean? And the ball goes in the hole a little bit, all of a sudden, and again, we made shots tonight. And that's kind of an underrated component. There's a lot of ways to win a game, but it certainly helps when you can get some shots to go in.
Ross, in regards to the last 72 hours, as you alluded to, and then Honor mentioned, just not so much to do or not, more the urgency, the response from your group following that overtime loss to Oklahoma State leading into this game.
Yeah, the urgency that we talked about was just, this group has been so committed since the moment they've stepped on campus, June 1st. They're not perfect. I mean, they're human beings, but their commitment level to what we've been doing and how we've been asking them to do it has been really good. I mean, as good as I've been around. And this group of, they're really incredible in hotels and, planes and locker rooms and how they interact with other people. And it wasn't something that I wanted to take for granted. So I wanted to make sure that I was giving them everything that I had. And that was what we asked. Let's make sure our commitment level doesn't waver. This is the Big 12. You're going to go through tough stretches. You're going to have some tough losses. We're not looking at an insurmountable mountain that we have to climb. So that was where the urgency came in, and that was the talk. Let's just continue to give everything we've had, pour into each other, trust each other, and there is part of you that has to accept that you're not always going to get the result that you want, and whether it's in sports or it's in life. We talked about Kobe Bryant a little bit. I think he played maybe 22, 23 years in the NBA. He won 5 NBA titles. Steph Curry's won 4. I think he's on year 17. 13 years of those guys' careers, it didn't end the way they wanted it to end. But I don't think anybody in here would classify Steph Curry as a loser. But he's actually came up short for his ultimate goal more often than not. So that was where the urgency and that was where the talk was. Let's keep doing the right things. Let's not fracture. We'll give each other everything we got, and then there should be a freedom associated with that. Once the ball goes out of your hand, you don't get to control if it goes in. You don't. As much as we would all like it to be able to control that part, we don't.
On the court there, you kind of, at the end of the game, you hugged your guys and you said, we haven't heard this song in a while. Can you just talk about that moment?
Yeah. I mean, yes. I thought about that a lot today. I've thought about that in the past. Yes, I wanted to cue Country Roads for sure. I wanted to hear that song today. So it's a special moment. We have a special fan base. Hope Coliseum was incredible today, and you like to be able to reward the people that stick with you in tough times, and they were incredible today. So it's always good to reward people that care so much about this place when you can.
Coach, DJ had that amazing first half, and it's not, obviously he plays in the second half, but it was more like Chance and Belo, and I was that worried. Is there a point you remember Chance and Belo? I mean, that's who we got to stick with. I mean, that's what's working. Even though DJ had this great first half.
This game in particular, more than ever, we felt like we needed size on the floor because of AJ's size. And so you had to defend him with size. And so you knew you were going to kind of have a combination of Belo, Chance, and Harlan, or, DJ. And Kata got 2 fouls in the first half. And DJ was battling him as good as he could battle him on the defensive end of the floor. And his size, we felt his size on the glass, so we felt like we needed to go a little bigger. But DJ's attitude and was incredible, and it was kind of just, like I said, the ebb and the flow of the game, and really trying to primarily figuring out how you were going to slow them down and stop them.
What's Chance giving you these last couple of games? Because it seems like he's playing with a little bit more energy compared to the beginning of Big 12 play.
Yeah, just being aggressive, being decisive. The game has opened up again. How people defend you opens up things for other people. So how people defend Honor, how people defend Trey is going to open up the game for guys like Chance. And he's been really aggressive with his attack and drawing fouls. And I tell Chance all the time, when his motor is running, he is an elite player. And when his motor is not running, he's a very average player. And he's been elite here lately.
I don't know if you guys hand out like a charge drawn award or not, but the one Jenkins took today.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah,
huge. Great timing, and again, that speaks to his maturity as well. Because about 2 plays before he kind of reached in at the last second and he had a foul called on him, and you're like, Mimir, show your hands. And again, 2 plays later, he beats him to a spot and shows his hand and draws a foul. It was a monster play.
And then Lorian's block, with like 18 seconds left, corner and a 3. AJ's taking a corner and 3, and Lorian gets that block.
Yeah, I don't even actually remember that play, to be honest. But like I said, I thought Belo did just a great job all night long of, like, those guys that they're so creative with their ability to draw fouls, and they can manipulate their landing space, and so you have to be really careful about not creeping into their landing space, to the point where we really like worked on that specifically, as routine and elementary as it may have sounded. Like, we rolled the ball to somebody and they shot it, and we tried to jump straight up because we've fouled too many 3-point shooters here lately.
Out of curiosity, like when you're scouting and you're watching AJ, and was there ever a moment like, I think Brennan can match up with him? I mean, was there ever that kind of?
We knew, yeah. I mean, we knew we didn't have just off of size and length and athleticism, you knew that Belo and Chance were probably going to be your primary defenders, and then in an emergency, you felt like maybe you would have to go Jasper a little bit, but Jasper had his hands full with Rob Wright, and then even to start the second half, we started Trey on him because we didn't want Belo to get his 3rd foul right away, and Trey's done a good job because Trey's not little. He's got good size as well. So you got to put size and length and athleticism on him.
How important is this week? You got 2 games pretty much. It's real quick. It's a real quick turnaround. How important is it?
Which part of it?
Just on the quick turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about Kobe Bryant. We watched a little clip of him yesterday, and he did. He said, hey, like, you play the game, you're going to win, and that's good when you win. He's like, but you got to wake up the next day and you've got to do it all over again. And sometimes you lose. It really sucks, but you got to wake up and you got to do it all over again. So it kind of started right after the game. Those guys got to get treatment. They got to get rest. We'll get together at some point in time tomorrow afternoon, and then you're on a plane on Monday. So just you got to be so committed to the present and the now and not worry too much about anything else.
Coach, thank you.
Thank y'all. Y'all be safe.